Have conversations with the newsmakers themselves today on the program. A justice speaks up against the Chief Justice.
I'm not after putting her down. I just want to correct what has been done. I cannot stand idly by when the power of the Supreme Court is being undermined.
Supreme Court Associate Justice Teresita de Castro confirming an allegation that Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno issued an order without the AmBank's approval.
I called up the clerk of court. Pwede ba makahingi ng resolution yung tungkol dun sa ARCAO na pinag-decide namin noong nakaraang Tuesday? Sabi ni Chief, babaguhin niya yung administrative order niya. Sabi ho niya, ni-ratify niyo daw eh.
And altering a draft temporary restraining order Justice de Castro earlier recommended.
The thing is, she wrote in the TRO that it was upon my written recommendation. That is not true. What I'm saying is that if she wanted to change or if she changed my recommendation, then she should have issued it on her own authority.
Members of the House Justice Committee, Representatives Henry Oaminal and Salvador Doy Liachon, join us live. And later, a revolutionary material that could replace paper and plastics in the future. That's for today's In Focus. Thank you for joining us. I'm Pinky Webb. And what could be a turning point in a House Justice Committee hearing, Supreme Court Associate Justice Teresita de Castro speaks at an impeachment hearing against her colleague, Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno. There she explained the violation she claims Sereno committed. Sereno's lawyers, on the other hand, are disputing de Castro's claims. The House panel is still on the process of determining if there is probable cause to impeach the Chief Justice. Let's go straight to the sources of the story. We have Misamis Occidental 2nd District Representative Henry Oaminal and Oriental Mindoro 1st District Representative Doy Liachon. Gentlemen, good morning. Thank you for being here. The hearings, of course, yesterday, gentlemen, was the testimony of Associate Justice Teresita de Castro. I'm going to start with Congressman Oaminal first. What was the most significant or telling part of the testimony of the Associate Justice?
Well, when Justice de Castro stated the facts on what had happened, that the resolutions, which that November 22 resolutions of the Supreme Court, which on record appears to have ratified the act of Chief Justice Sereno in issuing administrative matter number 175/2012, which designates Justice Ikong as the head of the judiciary, the GDO, right? When, in fact, that was not the consensus of the Supreme Court in Bank. And with that revelation, Justice de Castro, having a personal knowledge of that incident in the Supreme Court, that only shows that there was really that deviation, there was really that alleged falsification of that November 22 resolution of the Supreme Court has really some sort of that fraud, as alleged by complainant Gadon. And this was reinforced with the Supreme Court resolution dated January 22. Yeah, that was November 27 resolution, then reinforced by January 24 resolution of the Supreme Court, which in effect, according to Justice Castro, just to be very courteous with the Chief Justice, just created a needs assessment committee in order to further study
this ARCAO.
Regional Court Administration Office, Region 7.
To those who may be a little bit confused with it, it was a little technical even for me, unless of course you watch it from beginning to end. Yeah. Let's start with the basics, sir. There was a resolution. No, let's start with this. They were invited to the relaunching of an ARCAO.
Yeah.
Doon nag-umpisa yun.
Yes.
nagulat po sila. According to Associate Justice Teresita de Castro, nagulat siya because we were not part of this. But let's go back. ARCAO was there before.
Yeah.
It was already, there was an NBank resolution allowing ARCAO, but they stopped it because of problems.
Yes.
As early as 2008.
As early as 2008. And then you have the Chief Justice re-establishing it.
Okay.
Okay, we'll start from that. What's wrong with that if there was an NBank resolution already in the past?
Well, the per allegation of the Associate Justice, in fact, she showed comparisons via
PowerPoint.
That there was substantial and procedural deviation from the previous resolution. Meaning, one, the sole administration was imposed upon a certain person only. Before it rested with the office of the court administrator. Second, it was more or less permanent. And the court cannot do that.
Only the legislative branch of government can
Yes,
do that.
unless there is a valid delegation of that power to create. And she actually changed the actual functions and office of the ARCAO, and she made it JDO. The problem there was, actually, it may be technical in a sense, but I am more concerned of how the resolution was
Yes.
effected.
Okay, so let's talk about
Yeah,
that.
because during the time that we were reading the complaint and one of the annexes was added or in fact incorporated to the complaint, and there was the letter of Associate Justice Teresita de Castro and saying, questioning the action of the Chief Justice of the unilateral issuance of the resolution, that the resolution creating the JDO was not actually the consensus of the justices. So meaning, the resolution was actually a different resolution from the fact or from the statements that they had during the deliberation.
NBank session.
NBank session.
Because in the NBank session, ang lumalabas po is that they were going to study it first.
Yeah, it's a study group, and per allegation, it was temporary designation of Justice Jose Perez. But when the resolution was released, it was Justice Ekong who was there. And
So pinalitan. Let's be very direct about it. Pinalitan.
The allegation was tampering. And in fact, that's why...
So an ARCAO, ginawang JDO ni
With the different
Chief
functions.
Justice, and then put in a different person that
Yeah.
was supposed to be Justice Perez, was it? It
Yeah.
was supposed to be Justice Perez, okay.
Dinesignate na lang direkta si
Ekong.
Justice Ekong. Now,
And-
as head of the GDO, within fact, the previous Supreme Court resolution speaks of an ARCAO, not GDO.
Yes.
And as mentioned, that this GDO is now under the office of the Chief Justice, no longer under the office of the Court Administrator. That was the essence of administrative matter 175.
Okay.
Yeah.
So pinalitan, basically.
And it...
Well,
should-
what advantage will that have with the Chief Justice? That's the
Well,
other question. Ano ba?
mga-
What does it benefit the Chief Justice if she
Speculation,
creates the GDO?
number one, she's favoring a colleague. Second,
And she doesn't have the power to do that.
yeah,
She doesn't.
yeah. Well,
Do you agree, Congressman Omenan? She doesn't have the power to do that. To designate.
The power to create new office, she doesn't have. So therefore, the designation of that new office created is also has no basis in law.
Okay. I'm going to put in the reply of the lawyers of the Chief Justice. Medyo mahaba po ito, but it just says this. It is false to say that the Chief Justice acted unilaterally and without knowledge of the court NBank when it issued AO number 175/2012. Precisely the creation of the said office, its budget, as well as designation of its staff had already been approved and delineated earlier resolutions of the court. How do you respond to that, Congressman?
Originally, that was my understanding. So that's why nakita ko hindi vital yung allegation na yan. But with the testimony of Justice De Castro, malinaw na the previous Supreme Court resolution did not speak of GDO. itong Administrative Matter 175, doon na niya nag-mention ng JDO ang designating Justice Icong. Tapos, in the November 27 resolution of the court, which that was discussed, ang discussion is there were oppositions, no? And there were no dissenting opinion of the opposition. That was the view of Justice De Castro. But ang pinalabas sa November 27 resolution, that the court in bank ratified that AM 175/2012.
Okay.
And I think the most important thing is, even though it is sanctioned by the previous resolutions of the court, we should remember that the resolutions are more or less temporary, depending upon the discretion of the sitting justices
And bank.
and bank. Meaning, if even that resolution or that office was sanctioned by the previous administration, the new composition of the court can change otherwise. And there was clear, well, per allegation, we have yet to appreciate it because papasok ba siya as culpable violation of the Constitution? Was really falsification present during the time? So, of course, the members of the committee, we are the members of the committee. As of now, we're balancing if it really, it will really fall under the culpable violation of the Constitution.
So before we go on break, it's clear to you, at least this particular allegation of Attorney Gadon about this RCOW and JDO, it's already clear to both gentlemen.
Quite very clear.
Okay. And it's clear what? What is clear to you? That she altered it? Did she change it?
The statements as alleged in the complaint
What-
are more or less, because during that time I was asking Attorney Gadon, don't put here, what are your bases here? Because when we will find it out, if ever probable cause will be found, we will find it out before the trial, before the
Right.
Senate. And we have a higher mandate.
Yeah, but the only reason, gentlemen, you found out was because Associate Justice Teresita De Castro showed up. If it was just Attorney Gadon's statement, you would not have found out.
Because statements will have no leg to stand on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be inclined to believe on the answer of Chief Justice Sereno.
All right. Again, we need to go on a break, but this. Didn't you allow a fishing expedition to occur here because there was no authentic record of personal knowledge coming from Attorney Gadon, that it had to take an Associate Justice Teresita De Castro that you guys had to invite to the hearing?
There were authentic records because these documents were attached in the complaint.
Pero kulang
It's
yun.
only Justice De Castro that clarified. That's why it could have been different if Chief Justice Sereno
And the
is...
Supreme Court and bank releases those authentic documents.
All right, again, we'll be taking a short break. This is the source on CNN Philippines. Still to come, after Associate Justice Teresita De Castro appeared at the House hearing, is there a need for other justices to attend succeeding impeachment hearings as well? Congressmen Doy Leachon and Henry O. Aminal will still be with us after the break. Please stay tuned. Commercial break. So that's clear na to the both of you.
Sa akin, nagbabago yung pananaw ko.
Ako,
on the issues
kung
of the case.
tatanungin mo dati, right, paano, wala naman, sabi ko nga, kaya lang, iba yung nagsasalita sila. Titingnan pa natin kay Noelty pag sinabi niya yung tungkol sa mauti. Iba pa yun. Mabigat din yun.
Manipulation of the clustering.
Kasi yung clustering pa. Yun sa mauti, mabigat na rin eh.
Sa akin,
Different
before
cases.
Justice De Castro, walang kwenta to sa akin yung Argao. Pero nung nagsalita,
Yeah.
Ang problema kasi
it will affect my...
nag-i-issue siya ng resolution na walang raffling. Sabi ko,
No, but Congresswoman Gwen Garcia kind of cleared that up, that there were two elements in the TRO. Parang expedient urgency
emergency
and
talaga.
recess. Di ba?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. We'll talk about the TRO next. And then, Congressman Rocamora, questioning her on
The motive.
yeah, look.
Because,
He never really got there kasi lahat kayo point of order.
Ay, mahirap yun kasi
Alam mo, that's-
bihira mong mapapunta ang co-equal branch of government.
You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guests today, Representatives Henry Omanal and Doy Leachon. Let's talk about the TRO. I wish we had more time with our count, no? But TRO naman. Justice Teresita de Castro saying that basically the Chief Justice altered is probably the right word, her draft recommendation of the TRO on the Senior Citizen Party List group. Okay. Now, Congresswoman Gwen Garcia also said there were two elements here, urgency and naka-recess. So, ang nangyari ho, ang kinukwento, just to give the viewers a brief background, it was raffled, napunta kay
Justice de Castro.
Justice de Castro. Tapos may binigay siyang recommendation na senior citizens lang, pero okay, the scope was widened by the Chief Justice. Is there anything wrong with that, Congressman Liachan?
Well, I have yet to look into the internal rules because there are opposing views. Of course, as per verified answer of the Chief Justice and per the statements of the spokesperson, that it is merely recommendatory and the Chief Justice can alter, modify, accept. Yeah, but then on the other hand, as per allegation of Associate Justice Teresita de Castro, that's why it was raffled, and the recommendation of a member of the division is very particular that she or he should be the one to make the recommendations. Now, the problem here is that I was to ask Associate Justice yesterday, would it be different really if, because according to her, the resolution says, upon the recommendation of the member
In charge.
I am issuing this one. The problem with that, it was not her recommendation.
It was just a part, hindi ho ba? It's still, I guess, sir, meron pa rin. It's still upon the recommendation of Justice de Castro, pero Senior Citizen Party List lang.
Party list lang.
Oo, hindi lahat.
Yung concern na party list lang.
That's why Associate Justice de Castro was very unhappy with that. Kasi sabi niya, parang ba't mo pa ginagamit yung pangalan ko?
And
okay.
She should have been consulted.
So is that impeachable?
Well, it will be depending on the appreciation of each member.
I asked that clarificatory question to Justice de Castro yesterday on the meaning of draft recommendations based on the layman's interpretation that majority, if not all the interpretation of draft recommendation, it is subject to revision, adoption in toto, or disapproval by the signing authority. And Justice de Castro made a very emphatic clarification that in the practice of the Supreme Court, the member in charge making the draft recommendation is being done in consensus with the other members, so that if it will be now forwarded to the Chief Justice, it appears that it is more or less a ministerial duty of the Chief Justice. Although, hindi nakalagay yan ministerial duty, but
parang unspoken.
Yes, he's duty-bound to consult the member in charge making the recommendation if ever she would like to revise this draft recommendation.
Okay.
Because there was already a process conducted by the member in charge. In that particular case, she was not consulted. The Chief Justice just immediately issued the TRO citing the name of Justice de Castro as the one making the recommendations, and it has departed from the recommendation, original draft of Justice de Castro.
But
that is actually where the alleged tampering or falsification in the said recommendation.
But the interplay thing will be this one. If there was no consultation prior to the issuance, despite the recommendation, and there was a major or substantial deviation from the previous recommendation, there is a interplay. There will be an interplay with the provision of the Supreme Court.
Meaning?
Meaning, before the resolution or decision of the Supreme Court can be released, it should be should be reached. Particularly, Section 13 of Article 8, the decision or resolution of the Supreme Court can only be reached out or from the consultation.
In other words, they have to vote. Kailangan 3, 5,
definitely.
Yeah, but the question here is, it's a TRO that was of a matter of urgency. Does that change the situation?
Well, even in recess.
But they were on recess.
Well, the word is consultation. You can.
But how can you consult if they're on recess? And there are two things: recess and urgency.
There was allegation that the Associate Justice was there the whole day, waiting for the response of the Chief Justice.
And as a matter of fact, in the answer of the Chief Justice, there was that consultation that has been made by her with that of another justice, Justice Benvenido Reyes, because it was Justice Benvenido Reyes who also made a recommendation on a separate case.
Yeah. Hindi ba
But
yun-
the point of Justice Castro is that that is a separate case. You cannot include
Pinagsama
that
niya eh.
in this particular
But they're both
case. because-
TROs,
No, but it was not the cases were not consolidated as one. So how can you enjoin or include other parties, which is not a party to the case?
Ang sabi lahat ng party list.
Para bang, to make it really basic, imbis na isa, ginawan tatlo. Parang gano'n. Imbis na isa, ginawan
Lahat
lima.
actually.
Ah,
Lahat actually.
actually, lahat, yes.
Lahat.
Let's look at the answer of, the reply rather, of the lawyers of the Chief Justice. It says here, the Chief Justice gave due consideration to Justice De Castro's recommendatory action. That's what they call it. Recommendatory action. Let's move that graphics. That's not the one. I know we're going. This is it. Recommendatory action. However, since Justice De Castro was merely recommending a course of action to the CJ on the proposed CRO, was merely a draft that the Chief Justice can wholly accept. Yun na nga po. Wholly, that's the question,
Well,
Congressman
yeah.
Omenan. Wholly accept, modify, or even reject
Yes.
Justice De Castro's recommendation.
I-
Does that mean she has that power to do that? Is that clear to both of you?
Well,
That was my understanding
that
before.
was my
So
understanding.
did that change?
Well,
Why did it change?
Well, material for me is a consultation. It's a consultation.
Kasi
It's
Tama ba yan kung consultation? What is the rule? I mean,
it's provided very clear under the provision.
but
of
they
the-
were, I guess my questions, gentlemen, is they were on recess. So
yeah,
how can
you
a
can call,
consultation?
you can go to the office. Supreme Court is.
Ganun mo ba? Is that how they work? I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I was there. I work at the Supreme
That's
Court.
right.
The court will be in recess, but the justices are working there.
Okay, Congressman Oman.
because of the material alteration or improvement of the said recommendation, it is really but basic based on their practice. And there was even that citation of their internal roles, that there must really be consultation of the member in charge. Kasi malaki yung deviation. Well, the Chief Justice said that it is within her inherent authority, and I was asking that question to the Chief Justice, to Justice,
Hala, ikaw din, ha?
to Justice De Castro, to clarify matters, no? Kasi, as I said, ako mismo, prior to the testimony of Justice De Castro, I was inclined to take the position of the Chief Justice. But when it was clarified, it appears that there is really some act done which is not in accordance to the practice of the Supreme Court being a collegial body.
So now that I kind of understand your position, obviously, but you're still congressmen. You're not prosecutors here now.
Yeah.
You should
We are still in the process of
judgment.
conducting preliminary
Exactly,
investigation
sir.
to determine
Yeah, we will be the one
probable cause.
to
But I
vote on
guess
it.
the question after that is, if there's something like this internally happened, is that again an impeachable offense? Again, I know you cannot answer
Yeah, we
that
cannot.
question just yet. We'll be taking another short break. We still have another topic to discuss after the break. Please stay tuned. My point is, with the way you guys are talking, obvious naman na nakikita niyong may mali na si Chief Justice.
Pero
doon.
ibang ano ba talaga siya? Culpable ba siya o hindi?
Yun.
May violation
Are you still deciding on that?
Yeah.
We are looking into now the definition
At
of
saka-
culpable violation of
The
the
Constitution.
Constitution. Titingnan namin.
Titingnan namin yung kabuuan.
Hindi naman pwedeng corruption yon, hindi din pwedeng
hindi.
other high crimes.
Bubuin mo yung 27 allegations.
Yeah, but sir, di ba pag isa lang ang
pero-
transmittable na yon,
Yeah,
even just
yeah.
one, you find it.
Yeah, pero mag-iisip ko pa rin.
Pero of the
Dahil lang ba sa
27
ganito?
allegations, merong most serious doon yung salin.
For you.
Non-filing.
Kaya di ba, AJ De Castro was saying, I gave my,
May 10
sabi niya 10
years.
years. Tapos,
Tapos wala ito.
That's pinasumo.
sana, hindi na, para wag na lang. Sasabihin ko na lang that Congressman Rocamora question, wala na tayong time eh. Ganda ng discussion. Pa-culpable violation. Kasi parang pwede ring brasuhan sa loob na.
Yung sa Arcao. Kasi nung pinuntahan niya, ni-ratify na. Ha? Eh, lahat kami ayaw.
Yung November
Ba't nagpalit?
27 nga.
Yung pa rin ang
Yung pilalabas niya na ratified. dahil sumulat siya, no?
Yun sa maunti rin, Pinky.
You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guests today, Representatives Owa Minal and Leachon, Congressman Rocamora questioning AJ De Castro on her feeling that it was Sereno and not De Castro who was appointed as Chief Justice. You were very unhappy with this, both gentlemen. Why?
Well, as the word of the majority leader, it is unprecedented that a sitting justice will appear before the House Committee on Justice, which is a co-equal branch of government. Normally, they would not allow. And since she was there, we were very appreciative of the gesture of the Supreme Court. And it's a cordial relation that's happening. Now, if you're going, the Associate Justice was speaking on evidence, on papers, on documents, and yet somebody will ask about, so you were not appointed as a Chief Justice. You must, ang aking dating, you may have the ill feelings, that's why you're testifying.
But isn't that the obvious, sir? Na parang may pinatutunguhan si Congressman Rocamora with a question like that. But you didn't give him a chance.
Yeah, yun eh.
Yeah, because personal emotions, that should be set aside, because we invited the justice in order to shed light on the factual incidents that happens in the Supreme Court in order to collaborate those authentic documents submitted to us. And then we should be thankful to Justice De Castro for giving her time, although she has the right to refuse it personally.
Yeah, but she answered it, huh?
She answered it.
Yeah, sinagot niya.
I should not be ruled by emotions. And under the rules on evidence, this is the right of the witness that she should be asked only on pertinent matters relating to the fact.
Yes, but I guess what I'm trying to say is, just to be very frank about it, obviously Congressman Rocamora was trying to hit something that posibleng masama ang loob ni AJ De Castro kay Chief Justice, kaya ganito siya magsalita. That's the obvious.
Para sa akin, that's all personal. That's foul.
For me, that only shows how fair is the Committee on Justice. No, that's democracy at work.
So,
everybody's entitled to their own
So, Congressman, how important? I mean, now you're saying that nalinawan kayo with Associate Justice De Castro showing up. How important is it for both of you that the Chief Justice actually show up?
She must show up. She must show up. Because parang ano yan, ngayon, parang sa CISO, di ba, magpunta to, para mapantay lang. Kasi, sabihin na naman lawyers. Ang problema, nag-walk out pa yung lawyers. They should be there. At least they have congressman there. They have...
What? How many do they have there?
Well,
two?
More.
That's not actually the point. They can relay the questions.
Yeah, through them.
Yeah, through them. And they have the right to have that one. Okay. And now that there was a positive allegation that there was manipulation, that CJ issued a resolution. In fact, it was said by the clerk of court that it was the order of the... CJ must speak.
Congressman Owa Minal, how about you?
Well, the right to appear or not to appear belongs to the Chief Justice.
Okay.
Pero sa akin, because of what was said by her colleague in the Supreme Court, mas nakakabuti sa kanya kung mag-appear siya and then give us clarificatory answers on things which were raised by in the complaint and that of Justice De Castro, so that probably it would really affect the individual votes of the members. So kung mapaliwanagan niya, baka this will not be brought to the Senate.
Yeah.
But as it goes currently, as it is going on, it appears that there are, out of the 27 allegations, which originally, in my personal evaluation, ang most serious allegation there is only the Salin. But with the appearance of Justice De Castro, itong Arcao sa akin, medyo nagkakaroon na rin ng medyo vitality, you know, in yung allegation, and including this of the alleged falsification of the TRO.
All right. I wish we had more time. So much to discuss. Anyway, continuation of the hearing is on Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll have a marathon hearing every day from Monday to Wednesday, except this coming Monday. Until the Christmas break.
So we'll be watching, sir. Gentlemen, maraming salamat and good luck, sir. Thank you. Thank you, of course, to both congressmen, and thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.